So here we go, our notes on reflections. Okay, I think I'm in a good place. There we go. So when I'm doing my reflections, first thing I like to do is I like to have a highlighter. The highlighter, you can use a different color if you want to, but the important thing is that you need to first look at what are they asking you to reflect across. In this example, they're asking you to reflect across the x-axis. So the first thing you want to do is you want to highlight that axis, because that's the most important thing of your problem right there. Okay? From there, you're going to take each point, let's use the same color here, and so let's see, I have E, F, C, and D, or if I want to go in order, C, D, E, F. So if I start with, we'll go in alphabetical order. If I start with C, okay, what I need to do is I need to ignore the rest of it. I'm just going to look at C, and I want to know how far is C from that x-axis, or that highlighted line. So I see that point C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units below that pink line. What that tells me when I reflect is that C prime is still going to be 5 units away, but instead of below, it's going to be 5 units above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where my C prime point is going to be. Okay? Now let's try it with D. If I look at D, D is 2 points below, or 2 units below. So to find D prime, I go back to the line, and instead of counting 2 units down, I'm going to count 2 units up, and that is where D prime is going to go. E is 1 unit below, therefore E prime will be 1 unit above. And I'm labeling it below instead of above because I think when I connect my lines, that'll keep it out of there. And then finally, F is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units below. So F prime will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units above. And if I take them each individually and label them as I go, it makes life super easy. So now, I just need to connect them in order. C to D, D to E, E to F, F to C. So, C to D, or C prime to D prime, D prime to E prime to F prime, and then F prime to C prime. Just finishing that off right there. And there's my reflection across the x-axis. It's as easy as that. Okay? What if it says reflection across the line x equals 1? Well, first off, I need to think about what x equals 1 looks like. If I have an equation that says x equals something, x equals something, we are talking about a vertical line. In other words, I go to my x-axis and I find, where does my x-axis equal 1? It's right there. And what that line is going to do is it's actually going to cross through the x-axis. So it's actually parallel to that y-axis at 1. So this time, this one over here, number 1, I was flipping up to down, or down to up, I should say. This one, I'm going to be flipping from the right over to the left. So the same idea, I'm just going left to right. So let's see, I have B, C, D. So I'm going to start with B. Point B is 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the right of the line. So B prime is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the left of my pink line. Yeah? C prime, or C is 2 units to the right, therefore C prime is going to be 2 units to the left of my pink line. And D prime is 1 unit to the right, D is 1 unit to the right, D prime is going to be 1 unit to the left on that same line. So, when I connect my dots, I have my reflection. Now, once I have the reflection drawn, you can see how there's the mirror image going on. It should be really easy. It does say list the coordinates. It should be really easy for me to say B prime is the point. Now, don't go from your line necessarily, go from the origin. 1, 2, 3, negative 3, 0. C prime is negative 1, 3. And D prime is 0, negative 1. I didn't do that over here, but I should. C prime is negative 2, 5. D prime is 1, 2. E prime is 0, 1. And F prime is negative 3, 5. So once you have it graphed, it's super easy to come up with your numbers. Just make sure that you're not treating this as the origin, but you're actually going back to the original orange. Because remember that pink line that I drew in, that highlighter line, is just telling me where the mirror image should be. Okay? So, next one, number 3, says reflection across the x-axis. So again, there's my x-axis. I highlight it so that I know where I'm going. Now this one's a little different because if you notice, there's a point C that is directly on the x-axis. So it is 0 units below or above. Therefore, C prime is going to be in the same exact place. When you have a point that is on the line that you're reflecting across, that point is exactly the same as its image point. The pre-image and the image are exactly the same. So B prime, if B is 4 units below, B prime would be 4 units above. So let's see. B prime is 0, 4. C prime is 1, 0. Where's D prime? Well, 2 units below will become 2 units above. And that's the point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. Connect my points. And I should be able to see the mirror image very clearly. There we go. Okay. All right. We have reflection across the y-axis here. Now this one's different. It doesn't have one on the line, but it has one point that's over here. So this is going to funky. It's going to be funky. It's going to like overlap itself. Still following the same problem or the same process. So let's see. RSTU, if I go in alphabetical order, RSTU, there's all my primes set up. So if I start with R prime, R is 2 units to the right, R prime will be 2 units to the left. And that is the point negative 2, negative 2. S is the tricky one. S is 1 unit to the left, so the reflection is going to be 1 unit to the right. So S prime is the point 1, 2. Then we have T prime. Well, again, always going back to that highlighted line. T is 4 units to the right, so T prime is going to be 4 units to the left, which is negative 4, 4. And then U prime, U is 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the right, so U prime is also going to be 4 units to the left, just like T prime was. And that's the point negative 4, negative 1. So as I draw my connecting lines here, I notice that what's going to happen with that S one. Because you're reflecting something, there's still something that's going to cross over, but it is a reflection still. So, turning the paper there a little bit, but that's what my reflection looks like. It is a mirror image. So just because it had a point on the left doesn't matter. Its reflection is going to be on the right. If the points are on the right, their reflections are going to be on the left of there. They're just on the opposite side. Okay? All right, so reflection across the x-axis, right here. And then the next one is a reflection across y equals 1. Now we did an x equals 1 up here, right? X equals something is a vertical line. What do you think y equals something is going to be? Y equals something is going to be a horizontal line. So the line y equals 1, here's where y equals 1 on my y-axis, and the line y equals 1 goes directly through there, cutting through my y-axis. So if you think you know what you're doing, I recommend that you pause the video, do these two, and then jump back in at the end to see if you got them right. Okay? All right, so I have K, L, and M here. I'm going to find K prime, L prime, and M prime. So starting with K, coming down to the line, it is 3 units above, so K prime will be 3 units below, which is the point 1, negative 3. L prime, well, L is 3 units above, so L prime is going to be 3 units below, which is the point 1, 2, 3, negative 4, comma, negative 3. And then M is the same situation we had going on up here. It's on the line. So it's 0 units up, therefore it's going to be 0 units down. So M prime is the exact same point as M, which is the point negative 3, 0. Connect your dots, and we should have our reflection. Now, if you are hand drawing in your reflections, it's going to be harder to tell that they are indeed reflections because they're not going to look as, it's going to be harder to see that it is exactly the same. But when you use a ruler, you really can see that it is exactly flipped from there. Okay? All right, last one. Let's see, I have H, I, J, and K, and I need all of those primes. So H is on the line. What do we know about that? That means it's going to stay on the line. Now, what are the coordinates of that point? 1, 2, 3, 1. So H prime is also 3, 1. So I'm going to label that as H prime also. I is 1, 2, 3 units above. So I prime is going to be 3 units below. And the coordinates of that point, that's I prime, that's 2, negative 2. J prime, J is 1, 2, 3, 4 units above. The reflection is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 units below. So there's J prime, and that's the point 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 3. Again, make sure you're putting all your coordinates in parentheses, otherwise you are not giving me a point. And then K is also 4 units above, so 4 units below would be down here, and that's the point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 3. Let's connect our dots or our points, and hopefully we should see the reflection nice and clear once we have those connected. Looking good. All right, so you should be able to see that if you were to fold that up, that they would match up exactly. Okay? All right, so there's your reflections. Happy studying.